The caustic critics.
Controversial.
Unrelenting, it's brutal, it's nasty.
Sensational.
This guy is willing to go 5 rounds with his naysayers, for crying out loud.
Bowling.
They're real.
Holy fuck.
They're mean.
So what was the actor's name? Oh god, what a plank he is.
They're here.
Are you ready? It's time for the Caustic Critics. They're here.
This is Chris Alexander there.
And this is Feedback, and this week we're going to take a look at a nasty little indie horror DIY production from Quebec entitled The Bagman, or Le Bagman.
Le Bagman.
Now, I think this is the very first short film we've ever highlighted.
Well, first of all, I didn't know you spoke French. That was an accurate translation.
It was.
Very good.
Yeah,
very well done.
I'm practicing for when I have to say the names of the filmmakers in a minute.
Personne sait c'est qui. C'est un maniaque qui a toujours une arme cachée dans son imperméable.
This is the first time we've ever highlighted a specific short film and focused in on that.
That's
on
true.
Rue Morgue Radio. So it's a big deal. And we're making a huge exception because The Bagman, I think, is essential viewing for anybody who aspires to want to create an indie DIY horror film. I'm talking about a no-budget horror film where you grab like a Sony single-chip camera, grab a bunch of your friends and hit the streets and try to come up with something. Basically, Bagman has that kind of aesthetic. I think there was a lot more money in it than you might think.
Certainly for the special effects. I mean, again, they're homegrown special effects, but
Right.
they didn't skimp when it came to the blood.
But it's more about creativity and
Absolutely.
resourcefulness than budget, right?
Bah, tu viens de le dire.
Je le sais, il faut juste pas le prononcer 3 fois.
Bagman?
Oui.
Bagman 3 fois?
Oui!
Bagman?
Oui, non, mon dicave, t'es à dire 3 fois!
So what is The Bagman about? It is about a sleazy, nasty trench coat wearing motherfucker with a paper bag slapped over his head. I mean, you can't get more DIY than this guy's
And they're
costume.
celebrating their DIY by doing that. They're nudging themselves in the ribs. It's great.
The iconography of it is perfect.
Cheap serial killer.
If DIY horror filmmaking was more recognized as a cultural movement, then The Bagman would have to be the ultimate anti-hero and the ultimate mascot for that movement. So anyway, the important thing about The Bagman,
Le Bagman.
which takes its cues from a sort of Sam Raimi, Peter Jackson splatter stick style balletic piece of horror madness.
On va tous mourir!
The important thing about it is these filmmakers demonstrate that you do not need money to create compelling and exquisitely stylized works of cinema. It's all about knowing where to put the camera and how to create set pieces and how to edit these things together. These aren't budgetary constraints. These are sensibilities that you have.
This is creativity in full effect.
Noggin work.
Absolutely.
It's 100%
noggin work. Yes, noggin work.
All right, so what's it about? The Bagman, it takes its cues from Candyman, which is a premise I think they should drop if they want to further develop this character.
Bagman!
If you were to say the name Bagman 3 times, this nasty, murdering, paper bag wearing motherfucker shows up and starts just executing everybody in sight. In this film, he comes face to face with a gang of these skinny, white, gangbanging, axe-wielding,
as only French
machete-wielding-
Canadians can portray, because they're not really gangbangers, they're not goths, they're not anything, but they sort of a mixture of all of them. Doesn't really make any sense, but anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely that aspect of it's real, very French Canadian for sure. But needless to say, Bagman massacres them all in ways that would make Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi cringe. You know, in that over-the-top splatter stick style that Peter Jackson did so incredibly well. This goes even further.
Well, you know what
it's
this
more full on, and it doesn't stop.
It doesn't.
It's like
It doesn't
20
stop.
minutes.
It's 20 minutes full value. That's what
it's unbelievable.
That's the biggest recommend I can give to this short film, is that it's full value. It doesn't waste 1 second of its running time in bothering with plot or character or anything like that. This is strictly about Bagman hacking up as many human beings as he can. Now, Raimi and Jackson and all these guys you cite, their influences will... This movie goes back even further to those guys' influences, which are the Three Stooges and Warner Brothers cartoons. This movie feels...
Well, you're deconstructing it to an
I am
unnecessary degree.
deconstructing.
You're wasting valuable review time.
This movie feels like...
And then let's go back further. Warner Brothers...
I said Warner Brothers.
Eventually we'll end up with fucking cave paintings by the Neanderthals.
I don't personally go that far, but if you want to look at this movie is a really disgusting riff on Curly, Larry, and Moe. Or when I'm watching this thing, I get a sense of the Roadrunner unrated. That's what it feels like. It kind of takes place in the middle of the road, and Bagman's just doing his thing. This is like, what if the coyote actually got revenge?
I'm a genius, while you could hardly pass the entrance examinations to kindergarten.
Bagman is produced by a Quebec indie collective, I believe, entitled Roadkill Superstar, and was actually directed by 3 individuals, and I hope I can do justice to the French names here. I don't want to come off like Clint Eastwood introducing Ennio Morricone at the Academy Awards.
The biggest farce in the history of broadcasting.
Let's give this a go. Francois Simard, Anouk Wichel, Jonathan Prévost. Sorry, fellas.
Tabernacle.
If I fucked that up, sorry. I want to also say, if you do read Rue Morgue magazine, please go back a couple of issues to the December 63 issue number 63 and dig out the Gourmets column, because his enthusiasm for this particular short is nothing less than unfettered. And for more information on Le Bagman, go to their website at www.lebagman.com. So until next week, this is Feedback saying, Vive Le Bagman.
And this is Chris Alexander saying, you know, I realize why you like Bagman so much. It's not the splatter, it's not, the compact DIY technique that they use.
Right.
Paper bag on the head, trench coat, dripping various fluids. Man, that's your fucking
It's
Queen
right up
Street.
my fucking
That's
alley.
your porn theater outfit, man.
Exactly.
This is your story.
10 different girls, all nude all the time.
You can see me this weekend at the various spots up and down Young Street in that exact outfit.
Sack man.
Take your clothes off and have your dinkle tinkle. There we go. Good evening, boys. Would you like to step inside?